So hi and welcome to today's video. So today I'm going to be cleaning this Clio, which might not look too bad at first. However, when you look a little bit closer, you can see that there is a lot of algae on this car, and I didn't clean it for 9 months and this is what it looks like now. So yeah, definitely around the trim, around the grille at the front. The wheels don't look great either, nor do the wheel arches. It generally just looks like a car that's just not been very looked after. Now, this is a car that's driven quite infrequently. It sort of just sits on the driveway. It just generally collects wildlife, as it seems here. So I'm just going to be tackling it today and using the new protection products that I've been really excited to try. So jumping in with the first product here on the wheels, and that is Green Star. And I've just diluted this to 10%, just to use on the tyres and the arches mainly. So of course, working in here using a little into detailing brush, which I find really useful, particularly on tyres like this that are very, very dirty. And you can see here that there is a lot of brown foam coming off those tyres, so they definitely were in need of quite a good scrub to get them to a level where they could be dressed properly. So I actually repeated this process 3 times of scrubbing them and rinsing them before I was happy with the colour that the foam was turning. So next onto the arches, again using Green Star here to give them a good scrub. I'm just using a household brush. Don't worry, it's not one that's used on the house now, but it's just a cheap brush, I think, from Poundland, just to give those as much of a scrub as possible. Of course, you can only get them to a certain level without taking the wheels off, but enough to clean them up a little bit. So next onto the alloy barrels and the faces. So here I used Autobead alloy cleaner, which of course is a sprayable option. Now I use this at neat concentration. You can actually dilute this one, but I was being pretty lazy and couldn't really be bothered mixing up a bottle of it. So I just sprayed it on neat. The alloys themselves weren't in that bad of a state, to be honest, because the car is barely ever driven, so yeah, not too much brake dust build up here. And I worked this in using a brush that I picked up from Because Race Car Box. This one just worked in and it foams up quite nicely, to be honest, when it's worked in. So next I move on to the barrels, and here I sprayed a bit of the wheel cleaner into the barrels themselves and also onto this brush. So this is a nylon bristle style brush from SGCB UK. I'll just work that in to try and give the barrels a good scrub and get them back up to decent condition. So I was kind of working an area at a time on the wheels here, and also of course a wheel at the time, because it was quite a warm day despite being pretty overcast, so I didn't want anything to dry on there. So then I moved back onto the paintwork and gave the car a good jet wash down. So here I was trying to remove as much of the loose debris as possible. Then I went in with that Green Star 10% concentration solution and sprayed some of the areas where there was a lot of algae build-up. And then I gave the car a good coat of Carchem Pre-Soak Plus Snow Foam, which is their sort of stronger snow foam that they have. And I picked this up in a mystery box a few months back, so I thought it'd be a good one to try here as I don't use it too often. And here I'm using around, I think just over 50ml in a 1 litre lance, just to coat the car, kind of soften as much of the dirt as possible and give it a decent dwell time. So I gave this a dwell time of around 10 minutes, as it was a reasonably warm day, but it's quite a thick snow foam, so I could get away with it. And then pressure washed down, taking my time really, because I was able to kind of blast away some of this algae at this stage, which I was really happy with. So for the contact wash, I used Garage Therapy Zero Decon shampoo, which probably doesn't come as a massive surprise to anyone on very neglected cars that really aren't cleaned that often or are covered in algae like this one. I find that this is a really good option because it just has a little bit more cleaning power than a normal pH neutral shampoo. It's also got very good lubrication as well, so it's really good when, like with this car, when I wanted to apply some protection but I didn't have time to do a full decon on this vehicle. It works really well because it kind of, it gives you a bit more of those decontamination properties, but without having to go to the full length of actually claying and using iron fallout remover. It just saves me a bit of time. Of course, it's going to be better to do a full decon and it's not a complete replacement for those, but I do find it a useful tool for these kind of situations. So I also went in with a hog's hair brush and again that 10% Green Star mix and just worked that into some of the seals where there was still some algae. even though a lot of it had already been blasted away, I still wanted to kind of go over these areas and get rid of anything that might still be in there. On the front grille, I again used that green star, but I also used just the wheel brush. And I found that this was probably the most effective tool and kind of quickest way I had of cleaning this area. And then I also used a soft brush, so this is one by GB Detailing, on some of the areas where it was kind of around the paintwork, so the badges and things like that, to avoid inflicting any unnecessary damage. So once I'd done with all this, of course, gave the car a good blast down, and you can see that there isn't any protection on the vehicle at this stage. So this leads us nicely onto the protection product that I'm using today, and this is Sam's Detailing ceramic foam. So they actually very kindly sent this down for me to review. So I was really excited to try it and kind of give my honest thoughts in this video and demonstrate it and show you just how it works. So here you can obviously see what it looks like on application. I just wanted to show a quick shot here of what it looks like when you rinse it off. Now, I was really impressed with the water behaviour here. I thought that for a car that had no protection whatsoever, to get this level of beading and sheeting from this product, I thought was very impressive. And it seemed to actually be more effective than other products I've tried in the past, like spray and rinse products such as Geon Wet Coat. I definitely noticed a stronger reaction here and better water behaviour. So in terms of how you actually use a product, of course you wash the vehicle beforehand, make sure that it's thoroughly cleaned, and then you mix it in your foam lance in 1:5 dilution. So here I used about 75ml of products actually in the lance, so that works out as around 6.5 washes. Of course you can use less than that if you wanted to. If you want to be a little bit more quick going around the car, then you probably could get away with using about 50ml here, so getting 10 washes out of it. You apply it to the vehicle and then you rinse it off straight away, so it doesn't need any sort of dwell time on there. And this was the kind of reaction that I was getting from it, so I was very happy with this one, and I think that it's a great product to use, particularly if you're in a rush. I think the only sort of disadvantage compared to a traditional kind of spray and rinse product is that it's better when you apply it to the whole car. If you're just applying it to certain sections, and of course getting the lance out is going to be a bit more of a faff. But if you're applying this to the whole vehicle, this was definitely faster than a traditional kind of spray and rinse product for me. So now onto the final touches, and here I was using a tyre gel by Carchem, which is one that I've not used in a very long time. I sort of forgot I had it. I picked up this sample about a year ago. It's a little bit more heavy duty than some tyre dressings that I have, so it was good for these tyres that are pretty browned and don't have the best finish. So I also wanted to use Autoglym Bumper and Trim, which is a product that I've not used in a long time as well, and I just used that on, of course, some of the rubber seals, but also on the wheel arches because they were quite dull and faded. I thought it was kind of ruining the overall look. It otherwise looked great, so I just popped a bit of that on some of the arches. And you can see here the complete look. I thought I was really pleased with how this turned out, considering the amount of algae and just general kind of dullness to the paintwork beforehand. I thought that it came out pretty good, and I was very happy, and the owner was as well. So don't forget to give the video a like if you have enjoyed it. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.